Welcome. My name is Debbie and this is Pouring My Art Out for the Lord. I have had a few people in the last little while asking about doing, having a tutorial for an absolute beginner to junk journaling. And I've given that some thought, and I don't think I have done, there probably is other people that have done, but that I have done something that is just basic, start from scratch. And when I was looking, just on YouTube for other various things, there's lots of help for beginning junk journalers, but at least I couldn't find a video or a video series that kind of started it from square one and kind of did a little progression. So I decided to put something together. So I'm calling this Junk Journals 101, and my intention is to do different levels. So today we're going to talk about level 1, and then I'm not sure about the exact frequency, every 2 to 4 weeks, probably something like that, I'll release a new level. So level 1 is for the absolute beginner. Never made a junk journal before, maybe looked at some pictures, maybe tried a little bit, but I'm just going to try to take you from the absolute beginner to making your first junk journal. And by the end of this video, I will have shown you how to make your very first junk journal, and you shouldn't have a problem putting it together. The first one always takes a little bit longer. Everything is new to you. You might have to find a couple of different supplies or tools to put it together, but you can do it. So this is level 1. Then, and what I've done is I put together a kit to make this level 1 journal. And I've put together a kit, just an inexpensive kit on my coffee shop that has everything you need in terms of paper to put together your first junk journal. And then what I thought I would do is in each subsequent level, I would add more complexity. So I would add, we would kind of start with this, and then we would add things and make a level 2, and then we would add more things and make a level 3. And probably what we'll do is make a journal for each of these, even though some of I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. If I'm going to use the same package, the same kit, and everything coordinates, I think I probably will, because then you'll have, at the end, if you go through all of the levels, you'll have a big stash of supplies that you need to kind of go off and do several other different projects. So I'm starting with a really neutral base for level 1, and as we go, we'll add in different things. I may add something in level 3 that's from a totally different color scheme and theme than something from level 4. So I might do level 1 and 2, kind of the basics, and then 3 might go this direction, 4 might go that direction, but kind of it'll build from here. So that's my thoughts, and I really encourage you to leave me comments in the comment section here. Give me feedback, what you would like to see. If you have any questions, if I'm not explaining things in a way that it makes sense to you, please interact, and I'll address those in the comments if I can, or on the next video, or however we do that. So welcome, especially this is for everyone. Anyone could make this journal, and I think it's going to be a really nice foundational journal that you can use for lots and lots of projects. But especially for the beginners, I welcome the beginners. If you've never made a junk journal before, you are in the right place, and let's do it. So I have put together a kit, like I was saying, on my coffee shop. It's 17 pages. I'm not going to talk in this video about the technical part of going over to the coffee shop. Well, I'll just go through it really, really briefly. So to get the kit, you go over to my coffee shop. The link is below the video. You go into my coffee shop and select this kit and just go through the checkout process and purchase it. I think you have to make an account, or you can maybe do a guest account with Ko-fi to do that. But I'm starting at the point where you have this this digital kit downloaded and ready to go. If you need help with the basic how to get the kit and how to work with Ko-fi, let me know and I'll address that in a different way. And the other thing I wanted to say is you absolutely do not have to have this kit. I just wanted to have everything all in one place so that it's easy. But if you wanted to do it, if you have an abundance of scrapbook paper and little bits and pieces, then feel free to just use your own stash, whatever you want to do. But I thought I would make this kit so that it's just super easy and everything is complete in here. So, and like I said, it's in a neutral color palette, so it'll work with a lot of different things. So I have two different cover options. So a junk journal is typically made up of a cover, and then there is pages inside of it. Let me just grab. This is a pretty basic junk journal that I just finished doing a series on YouTube. It was a free series. All of the papers and everything was free. There was a teaching on anxiety during the session, but I put this together in kind of a basic way. So every journal will have a cover. This particular one I used a manila file folder and put the papers on. We're going to actually even do it one step simpler than that this time. But you have a cover, and this is inside covers. And then you have, this is called a signature. So this is just a group of papers. Usually they're folded at some point, and then we stitch them into the cover. So this is the stitching. So this is just a basic junk journal that has a cover and one signature. And its signature is just papers folded in half and sewn into the cover, which is exactly what I'm going to show you what to do. But I just wanted to kind of show you a little bit of the terminology. And then just while I'm here, the kind of the basic thing that we put in a junk journal is pockets. Well, okay, we have writing spaces. So a journal is to write in. So we have writing spaces. We have pockets. This is a pocket. And we have tags or journal cards. I'm going to include both in this kit so that you can have, let me just see, okay, so here's a pocket and here's a tag. So tags generally are decorated on one side, and on the back there's a place to write. A tag generally has kind of a tag shape, so slanted corners. We often round the corners just to make it easy to get into the pockets. And they often have some sort of a string or tab or something to pull them in and out. Whereas that's a little bit more. Let me see what I have for a journaling card is similar to a tag, but a little bit simpler. So here's a journaling card. So again, it's decorated at the front. This one has lines at the front, so you can write on the front, and it's got a place to write on the back. But there's no slanted corners here, and there's no ribbon here. Not that you can't do that, but that's generally how we talk about things. And then you might hear this word ephemera, and ephemera can mean many different things. Strictly thinking about it, ephemera is kind of found objects, found pieces of paper like tickets, bus tickets, ticket stubs, coupons, brochures, maps, invoices, those kinds of things that are generally not something that you would save, at least in an artful way. And a junk journal is kind of a collection of found ephemera that we take the ephemera and we kind of add a little extra to it, make it pretty, and then we put it into a journal. Now, junk journals, that's how they kind of started, but junk journals, lots of people make junk journals that are just beautiful pieces of art, and there's really no junk in them at all. And that's totally fine. So the term junk journal is kind of a misnomer, I guess, at this point. Like in this particular one, this is a file folder, manila file folder for the cover. It was probably a one that was used, because I have a lot of, I don't usually buy them new. So that would be a piece of junk that you would normally throw away, and it is repurposed. Lots of this is just new stuff that I printed. This is a pocket made from a piece of, we call it book page, which is just an old book. There's lots of old books just waiting to be rescued, kind of falling apart or stained, or, you know, in thrift stores they're throwing a lot of those things away. So I rescued, this was a Bible. I rescued the Bible and I tear out the pieces and I make new pieces of art with that. This tab on here is just a bunch of scraps, a scrap of lace, scrap of paper, scrap of, you know, different pieces of paper. I stitched a little bit there. And this was a scrap of, I think it was tracing paper, or it could be parchment paper or something like that. So that's where, you know, you kind of take the junk. This was kind of a recycled book page as well. So you kind of take the junk, and I generally do a combination of both. So I'll have some junk and some new pretty stuff. This was a music page of a discarded music book, and I just took it and I folded it. I folded another piece of book page there. So that's kind of the process. But we're not going to get into all of that yet. That'll be in some of the other levels. But I just wanted to kind of give you the basic structure of what we're going to be making. So this is, I'm going to give you two different cover options. So these are the two cover options. So you can pick which one you like the best. You can make two journals if you want to make two journals. So this is one just with kind of an abstract of butterflies. And this one is something I call a collage, which is just a bunch of different pieces. It's not the whole piece of anything. Everything is just sort of a little bit of this, and you kind of throw it all together and it makes something pretty. So this is my Christian version. So Woman's Bible, Glory Hallelujah, But God, and some flowers and birds and praise the Lord. So you can pick which one that you want for your cover. And for the cover, I use cardstock. So there's different kinds of paper. You can definitely just start with plain printer paper, but you may want to at some point get a little bit of heavier paper. Check your printer. Some printers can't print really heavy cardstock, we call it. This one is really actually lightweight cardstock, but it is cardstock as opposed to paper. This is just normal 20-pound printer paper, and this is cardstock, so you can kind of see how it moves differently, but this is not thick. Sometimes your printer can get away with printing a little thicker. I have a couple pages in here that are a little bit thicker, and you know that goes through my printer as well. So for the cover, if you have a little heavier weight paper, it might be nice to use that for your cover. If not, just use regular paper and, you know, build as you go. You know, you don't have to have everything the very first day. So again, those are the two color options. When you're printing these onto your cardstock, every printer is different, so I can't really help you with that, but I generally will increase the quality of the print a little bit. So sometimes printers will print in a draft print setting, which is just really quick and, you know, not very pleasing. It's just kind of to proof something. And then there's usually a normal, and then there's usually one or two settings in between or more, and then there's like a premium setting, and I usually use like the settings in between. Mine is called normal/vivid, and that's the one that I typically use for everything. So not the best and not the worst, but somewhere in the middle. So that's your papers, that's your settings, and then for the cover I want to print it double-sided. So what I do on my printer does print double-sided, but I like controlling it, I think, a little bit more. So I feed in the paper, it prints that side, I flip it over, make sure that you print, you flip it over the right way, like if mine comes out like that, so I know that to the left is the top of my page. So this one doesn't matter because it's just an all-over pattern, but if you had some writing or something, you want to make sure you flip it over the right way. And it might take a little bit of, you know, fidgeting and practicing to get it right. Once you figure it out, write it down somewhere beside the printer, and then you can kind of remember that. So this is the cover page, and this is the inside cover page. So I printed this double-sided. I printed here, turned it over, and then I printed this one on cardstock, lightweight cardstock. Same thing with this one, lightweight cardstock. I printed this, I turned it over, and I printed this on the back. All of these pages are in the kit. So that was the cover. Then the pages, I gave you 6 different pages, and I printed 2 of each. And I printed these double-sided as well. So this is one of the pages. I printed each one twice. And then on the other side, I printed this page twice. So again, I printed it double-sided. These are just 20-pound copy paper that you would normally use, just the cheapest paper that you use in your printer. And I printed, oh, and I also printed borderless. Some printers have borderless and some don't. If you don't have borderless, there will be a little bit of a border around, a white border around your page after, and it's no big problem. You just cut that off. If you can print borderless, then you don't have to worry about cutting it off. So I always print borderless. My printer, I have an inexpensive Epson EcoTank printer. My model is 2760, which is discontinued a few years ago. It's been going strong. I print in color every single day, and it's still going strong. And for the first couple of years, I used genuine Epson ink, which is much, much, much more economical than the cartridges. This is just the bottles that you refill. Let me just write this down for you. If you already have a printer that works well for you, don't worry. But if you're looking for a printer, if you don't have a color printer, so it's Epson, and ET stands for EcoTank, which is the ones that have the bottles and the tanks, not the cartridges. And there's, I think the current entry model is 2850. And this is what I would get when I'm replacing mine if it's still around. You don't need the fanciest model. The printer itself is a little more than some other printers. I think I'm in Canada, and I think I've seen this one for $229 on sale. But then when I purchase the ink, I buy ink on Amazon, and I buy compatible ink to this printer, and it cost me from $20 to $30 for all colors. So there's blue, cyan, and magenta, plus a bigger bottle of black for $20 to $30, and that usually will last me probably more than 6 months, 6 to 8 months. And I print every day in color, sometimes a lot every day. So once you buy your printer, it's very, very economical to print. So if you have any more questions about the printer, let me know below. I don't want to go on and on about that, but so the first page I print twice, then I flip these over and I print this page. This is another page in the kit, twice. All of the pages for the pages to print for the inside of your journal signature I made for writing. So these, it's just kind of an interesting, you know, the primary grade writing. This is like a grid for writing. So I have those 2 pages. Then this is another page. So I printed that twice. And then on the other side, this is just a very plain piece, but it's, you know, it's not the same as a white, you know, this is a white piece of paper. So it looks plain, but it's, you know, it'll look good in the journal. So I printed, you know, like the same front and back as this one, front and back. You don't have to do that. And you can do as many pages as you want, but this is what I decided to do. Two of these on the back. Then I did 2 of these, and 2 of these on the back, and then 2, 4, 6. Yeah, that's what I did. So I have 2, 4, 6. So I have 6 pages in the kit, and I printed each of them twice. And so I have 6 double-sided pages total. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's plenty for your first journal. It seems maybe like it's not that many pages, but when you fold these over, so that's 6 pages, when you fold it over, it becomes 4 pages in your journal. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this 6 pages, double-sided, becomes 24 pages in your journal, which is plenty of space for your first journal, and even for your 100th journal. I just recently made a really simple gardening journal. I just had a cover and a bunch of pages like this, and I love it. I just, you know, I keep track of all my stuff. I think I have a pocket maybe at the beginning and the end, and so you can be making journals for years and you don't have to get complicated. It's just, it can be just that simple. So that's the pages, and this is going to become our signature. Then I gave you a page of 4 different colors, patterns in the neutral palette, and these we're going to turn into pockets. You can turn these into lots of different things, and as we progress through the levels of the different levels here, we'll use these kind of things for different, I'll show you how to cut them and make different things, but for this particular journal we're just going to make basic pockets. So I give you 4 different colors so that you can have some variety. This one I printed on cardstock, the same cardstock that I used for my cover. But if you don't have that, you can just use paper. And this one I did not print on the back at all because I don't need to. It'll be glued on and you won't see the back. And I printed this one borderless as well. So there's the pockets. Then I have some tags. This I printed on cardstock as well. This is a little bit heavier cardstock. I just happen to have that. This has 3 large tags. These are just kind of generic backgrounds, a music page, a script page, and kind of an advertisement page. This one I printed on the back because we're going to see the back. So this is one of your backing pages. And then this is another one. So I have 3 more tags. So a map, and this is actually part of an invoice, and this is just a grungy frame with music page. Grungy is another term that we use a lot in junk journals. It just means that things are, and not everybody sells digitals like this, but I like this kind of grungy look. You know, it looks like it's dirty, but it's not dirty. It's grunged up. It's made to look old, I guess, is what we do with that. So there's 3 more tags, and at the back I printed the same page as I had on the first 3 tags. But you can pick whichever page that you want in the kit to print on the back. And then I did, these are called journal cards. So these ones will be kind of like tags, but they're generally like a rectangle or a rounded rectangle. And these ones I just made 8 different patterns in the back, and each one has something like a little script on it, kind of thing, like this good day, date, place, people, activity, date, this happened, important details, right now, location, this is the weather, you know, just little interesting things. And you don't, in junk journals, you don't have to use these things for what they say. Like keep a record, I might write a scripture there. I might write a quote there. It doesn't have to be what it says. We sometimes use, like, we'll use a clothing receipt, like we take to we get from the dry cleaner or something like that, and we might write a recipe on there. Like, so we don't always use these things for what they say, but there's writing space on here, which is kind of the important thing. There's writing space for us to write. And then I printed one of the pages on the back, because these will be double-sided, so we want to see the back, so we double-sided that one. This one I printed borderless. This one doesn't really matter. And then I made 8 more journaling cards, and these ones I didn't put the writing on top. So for the first journal, for level 1, we're just going to leave them as is, but as we progress, we're going to add things to the top of these to decorate them. But we're going to keep it really simple for the first one. So I just made 8 interesting patterns, so those will look nice in our pockets. I printed on the back of this one. This is often what we use in junk journals is something called coffee dyed paper or tea dyed paper. And what we do is we actually take perfectly fine white paper and we stain it with coffee or tea. And then we use that in our journal. So I gave you a piece of digital coffee dyed paper so that you don't have to go through that process. Eventually, maybe you'll want to. But this simulates coffee dyed paper. It's got like the coffee rings and, you know, all the grungy stuff there. So I printed that on the back of those tags there. And then lastly, I have one page that is words and phrases. And I tried to just give you kind of, you know, a real mix of different things. Some are, you know, just quite generic. I have journal that you could use for the cover, inspire, believe, create, love. Then I have some more faith-based, faith, Bible, gospel, cross. These are just kind of generic reflections, cherish, beautiful, inspiration. Here's a couple of quotes. There's a couple more quotes. And these are just a little bit more of a phrase. So we'll cut those out and we'll add them to different parts of the journal. Words really add something special to a journal. So it's always nice to have these words there. So, okay, so that was a big introduction already. You know, I think I'm going to cut the video. I was going to do this all in one video, but I think I'm going to cut the video off there. And then the next part 2, so it'll be level 1, part 1, Level 1 Part 2. I think we can get it done in 2 parts. So Part 2 I will have up very soon, and that will show you how to put this together. So at this point, you can go get your kit from Ko-fi, get it printed out on cardstock, double-sided, borderless, figure out your printer settings, and get all of these pages printed out like I showed you. And then next time we will jump right into making our journal. So blessings, and we'll see you very soon.